The last day of Julius Caesar. The Senate chamber was vast, its marble columns towering above the gathered men. The air was thick with whispers, but one voice, deep and commanding, cut through the tension. It was Julius Caesar, and he had come to answer the summons of the Senate for what he believed would be another simple formality. Little did he know, the Senate had drawn its final breath, and so too would he. It was the Ides of March, 44 BC. The morning light filtered through the high windows, casting long shadows across the cold stone floor. Caesar, his purple toga flowing around him, walked with the slow, measured steps of a man who thought himself invincible. For years, he had crushed his enemies in battle and politics alike, and now he stood at the peak of power, dictator perpetuo, ruler of Rome. The Senate, once a body of esteemed statesmen, had become a theater of discord. Within its ranks, old allies had turned to enemies, and those who had once praised Caesar's ambition now feared it. They whispered that he sought to become king, to crown himself as ruler not only of Rome, but of the world. Among the crowd of senators, a group had formed, a conspiracy led by Brutus, the son of Caesar's mistress, and Cassius, a man whose envy had festered like a wound. They had plotted, not in the shadows, but in the light, for they believed their actions would save the Republic from tyranny. Caesar entered the Senate house with a smile on his face, unaware of the storm that awaited him. He greeted the senators, and many of them, afraid or loyal to him, bowed or offered him the slightest nod. But some stood still, their faces set in grim resolve. Among them, Brutus waited, his hand trembling as he glanced at the others. The tension in the air thickened as the Senate began its deliberations. Caesar listened, nodding absently, his mind already considering his next triumph, his next conquest. His gaze briefly passed over Brutus, and for a moment there was something softer in it, perhaps a memory or a fleeting recognition that the young man was more than just a senator to him. But that moment was brief, and it passed as quickly as it came. Then it began. First came the attack from Casca. With a sudden motion, the senator drew a dagger and plunged it into Caesar's neck. The crowd gasped, and Caesar recoiled, his face contorting in pain and surprise. He staggered back, but before he could fully react, more daggers were thrust into his flesh. Brutus, standing before him, drew his blade. The sight of his son's betrayal stung more than the wounds themselves. "Et tu, Brute?" Caesar whispered, his voice trembling not with fear, but with a profound sadness. Brutus, his face pale, looked down at his father figure, unable to speak. The knife in his hand trembled as he stepped back, leaving Caesar to collapse in a pool of blood at the foot of Pompey's statue. And then silence. The Senate chamber, once a place of political discourse, was now a tomb. Caesar's blood stained the floor, a symbol of the ambition and betrayal that had brought him down. The senators, unsure of what to do next, stood in stunned stillness. But one thing was certain, the Republic was dead. It would never return to what it once was. As the Senate scattered, Brutus lingered, his heart torn. He had slain a man who had given him everything, a mentor, a father, a friend. But in his mind, he had done what was necessary. The Republic had to survive. Yet outside the Senate house, the streets of Rome would soon erupt in fury. Caesar's death would spark a civil war, one that would end not with the restoration of the Republic, but with the rise of an empire, a new order forged in blood and ambition. The Ides of March had come, and Julius Caesar had fallen. But the echoes of his ambition would ring out for centuries to come.